going to the doctor doesn't work. No, they don't get to know you. They don't get to know what's going on with you, and they don't give you numbers and things that work just for you.
Well, in the conventional world, regular endocrinologists and regular conventional doctors don't believe goiters are reversible. You're living proof.
I actually learned how strong I can be. I didn't know.
Hey everyone, I'm Maggie Yu, MD, functional and holistic medicine physician and owner of Transform. Today we have an interview with Paula, and she recently graduated from our program, Transform Autoimmune, where people work directly with me and my team using data, education, and life coaching to turn around their autoimmunity. Paula is a great example of someone who was going along and doing fine until she wasn't, and she was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which started out not to be a big deal until it turned into a hospitalization that nearly took her life about 6 months ago. And when people get ulcerative colitis that is that severe and in intensity and life-threatening, it is very difficult to turn that around. It's what I call the bull's already out of the pen. So what do you do in a situation where the bull's already out of the pen? Well, watch Paula's interview and her story and see how she was able to turn this around. Hey, Paula, tell us about you.
Okay, my name is Paula. I have ulcerative colitis. I was diagnosed last year. I have had a lot of stomach cramping, a lot of rectal bleeding, and basically all over didn't feel well. I couldn't hardly get up, couldn't hardly do anything.
So tell me, based on, I know it's only was a year that you were diagnosed, and you said you didn't have a lot of symptoms, but the symptoms sounded pretty severe. It got pretty severe.
Yeah, they were very severe. I probably actually had ulcerative colitis for at least a couple years prior, and that I was showing some symptoms, but I thought that I just had hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Because you might have a little spot of blood and then nothing, and I didn't really feel bad. But I did notice that sometimes, like if you ate a big meal or something, you just wasn't quite right. But then if I tried to eliminate things out of my diet, then I'd be all right for a while. And then you go back to eating your bad like you need to. Yes.
So up and down for the whole year, to the
Absolutely.
point where I remember right when you joined the program, you were in the hospital. What happened? Well, would you say that was your lowest point or worst feeling?
Yeah, actually, it really was. And I actually didn't know if I was going to make it or not. I honestly had one of those moments in the hospital where I really didn't feel like I was going to make it.
And that was,
And
I think it was the first or second week of the program.
it was after the second week. I had just started the program, and I just gotten enough information to start trying the gluten-free. I had already taken the test and sent them off for the blood sugar and the food mapping.
And hormones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hadn't had the results back yet, but I had just enough information that I was already starting to get things going.
Yeah.
But had I been in the program earlier, I probably would have been able to avoid the hospital.
You know what? That being said, I mean, where are you now? We are recently graduated from our 2-month online program where you work directly with me and my team.
Yeah.
And so where are you now with your results?
I am working 50 hours a week on the job, and I can do just about anything and everything I want to do. I'm not tired anymore. I can stay up later, but without feeling fatigue in the morning. I'm eating everything I want to, except for dairy and gluten, but that's okay. I'm good with that because I feel great.
You feel great. Okay, what's something that you do now effortlessly that just even, let's say 4 months ago, you thought was impossible?
Oh goodness, all sorts of things. I can think straight. I can, like I said, I have energy. I didn't have any energy before. I mean, I feel about as good as I did when I was in my 20s right now.
What?
Now, we ain't gonna say how old I am, but
You mean
yeah.
you feel just energetic enough or that to be a little dangerous?
Yeah, oh yeah. Why not? And I still got a little bit to go, but I'm working on it. I'm still working on the hormones. That takes a little bit of time, but I'm in the right direction.
So, I mean, Paula, most people would think that's as severe as a bout of ulcerative colitis where you almost died is impossible to turn around. So what do you think it was in our program that made this not only possible, but you've done it, you've achieved it?
It's everything combined. It's not any one component of the program. It's all of it. If I wouldn't have had the food mapping, I wouldn't have been able to eliminate the foods that were causing the inflammation.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have the blood test to see where my hormone levels were at, I wouldn't know how to fix any of those. And to know, with the thyroid and everything, that it's not an actual thyroid problem that I've got, that it's actual an autoimmune attack on the thyroid.
Yeah.
It's huge because the doctors, if they would have looked at everything, they couldn't believe that whenever I was in the hospital, they noticed that I had a goiter. It was huge. So
Yeah.
they did the ultrasound on it and they were ready to, we got to get this colitis under control and then we're going to take care of your thyroid. Well, Dr. Maggie, you took care of my thyroid. He told me to go ahead and do the thyroid protect. I've got that and some selenium and it's gone.
Yeah.
And
Goiter's
you're
gonna be
talking,
gone.
yeah, you could see it was big enough, you could see it. So yeah, and it's gone.
Well, in the conventional world, regular endocrinologists and regular conventional doctors don't believe goiters are reversible. You're living proof.
I ordered some thyroid protect for my mom, so
You're like, I'm taking care of my mom now.
that's right. And her doctors couldn't figure out if she had Hashimoto's or,
Mm.
what was going on.
Okay. I love it. So, what's something about you that you learned about you during this process of the program that surprised you?
I actually learned how strong I can be. I didn't know. I had no idea. And I contribute that not only to the work that I put in, but being a part of the group and the group setting like we have. It's huge. You don't think it is. When you first join, you're almost kind of, I don't want to share my story. I don't want to tell everybody what's going on with me. And everybody in the group knows more about me personally than a lot of people I know. But it's awesome because they all know what you're going through. They all feel it too. And they're good support.
We're so used to one-on-one, like you in a room with one
Yeah.
doctor over and over again. And yet it's that exact same process that's gotten people to be as sick as they are. And so for me, I mean, it sounds to me like it was a little bit challenging in the beginning to be like, oh, I'm going to be in a group, in a small group, working with Dr. Maggie and her team. Being vulnerable is really difficult.
Yeah, it is. But I'm so grateful for it. I don't. It helps you too in talking to the doctor because now I can talk to the doctor about anything and I don't care. I just open up. I don't care.
You're
I'll
like,
talk
there are
to you.
them hemorrhoids that I don't
That's right.
have. There's them goiter I no longer have.
That's right. It doesn't. It does not faze me in the least bit to say anything I need to say anymore.
Paula, that was not the same person I met 6 months ago.
No, no, I could barely hold my head up 6 months ago. Yeah, I couldn't think, and all I can say is that I was grateful, for all of this. I mean, you took the time out with me and everything, and yeah, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. The medication the doctors had me on wouldn't have done that.
Wow.
Which brings me to my doctor, the last doctor's appointment. It's funny because he says to me, it's great that the medication's working like it is because I can see a huge difference in you. Not that I'm doing all this other stuff, but autoimmune suppressant drugs do not make you bounce back like I have. They just don't.
Well, I think you highlight an important point, which was you needed to be on the drugs and because you were in the
Mhm.
hospital near death.
Yes.
And at the same time, you were in this program. And honestly, you're in a position now where when your symptoms are like next to nothing for a
Yeah.
demonstrated period of time, that's the only chance that you actually have of ever getting off these medications.
Right. Yeah. And for me right now, I have been symptom free for 3 months.
It's
And
good.
you're talking, I was so bad off. I really, really, yeah, I came close to losing my life.
Not
And that
ever
was just
again.
end of February, I came close to losing my life.
Paula, not ever again, not on your watch, and definitely not on my watch.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so here's a question. If there's somebody on the internet right now who's looking and deciding whether they're going to click that button to watch a training, my training,
Yeah.
what would you tell them to do right now?
Go for it. It's one of the best things that I've ever done. I was one of those like everybody else. You look at it for a little while before you make that decision. It didn't take me long though. I kept coming back. I look at other things and I kept coming back to your program. And I said my prayers over it. And I'm telling you, it's the best thing I've ever done. It is. I don't think I'd be alive right now. I really don't. So yeah, it's a major thing to do, but it's well worth it. Definitely. There's not even words to say. Just not.
What almost prevented you from doing this program?
Well, I think like everybody else, you kind of worry about, well, how much does it cost?
Mm-hmm.
And is this really going to work? Well, Going to the doctor doesn't work. They don't get to know you. They don't get to know what's going on with you, and they don't give you numbers and things that work just for you. And so when you realize that the cost is well worth it, because my life's worth it, your life's worth it, everybody's life is worth it. So what do you got to lose? Go out there and try it. It's there's no other program out there like it. There just isn't. I know other people that have gone through similar programs and don't have all the same components. It just don't. And you got to have all of it. You got to have the complete circle in order to make it work.
Lovely. I love that. Thank you, Paula, for joining us. That was amazing. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for watching Paula's interview. I think her case study really illustrates that putting things together with hormones, with food mapping, and developing a growing sense of self-confidence with real education and mentorship and a community to boot is the key to actually turning around any autoimmune disease, even a life-threatening one, just like her ulcerative colitis. So I hope you enjoyed that interview just as much as I did. And if you feel like someone else that you know can benefit from watching this interview, they may not listen to you, but they may listen to Paula and they may listen to me. Go ahead and put their name in the comment section so that they're aware of this interview, because you know what? Sharing and raising awareness is caring. Thanks, everybody. And if you have not joined our Facebook group, please go ahead and click the link to join Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. That's our Facebook group where we have tons of alumni, kick-ass alumni, just like Paula. And at the time of this recording, we're at 30,000 people in our Facebook group. Tons of bonus trainings and other case studies, just like Paula's. Go ahead and join Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, and we'll see you in our Facebook group. Thanks, everybody.